Let's get right into it. Number 10. Your brain treats mixed signals like a broken GPS. Picture this. You're driving to IKEA, but your GPS keeps saying turn left, then immediately screaming recalculating every 30 seconds. That's essentially what happens when someone plays hard to get with your attachment system. Your brain is desperately trying to map out where this relationship is going, but the other person keeps moving the destination. Here's the kicker. Your nervous system evolved to detect patterns and predict safety. When someone is hot one day and cold the next, your brain starts firing off stress hormones like it's preparing for an actual threat. Because evolutionarily speaking, unpredictable behavior from potential allies usually meant this person might abandon me to die in the wilderness. So while you think you're just being mysterious and alluring, you're actually triggering the same neural pathways that activate when someone's chasing you with a stick. Romantic, right? Number 9. The dopamine roller coaster. Your reward system gets absolutely hijacked when someone plays hard to get, but not in the fun theme park way. It's more like being strapped to a malfunctioning roller coaster that keeps stopping mid-loop. Every time they text back after ignoring you for 3 days, your brain dumps a massive hit of dopamine, the same chemical that makes gambling addictive. The problem is, intermittent reinforcement is literally the most powerful way to create compulsive behavior. Slot machines use this exact principle. You keep pulling the lever because you never know when you'll hit the jackpot, even though the house always wins. Except in dating, the house is someone who thinks withholding basic human decency is a personality trait. Your dopamine receptors start getting desensitized to normal, healthy expressions of interest because they're too busy waiting for that next unpredictable high. It's like training your taste buds to only enjoy food that's been set on fire. Eventually, regular meals just taste bland. Number 8. Anxious attachment goes into hyperdrive. If you already have anxious attachment, congratulations! Playing hard to get is like pouring gasoline on the tire fire. Your attachment system is basically a smoke detector that's already way too sensitive, and mixed signals make it start shrieking like the house is burning down when someone's just making toast. You're actually recreating their original trauma for funsies. It's like offering someone with a peanut allergy a PB&J sandwich and calling it mysterious. Number 7. Avoidant types think you're proving their point. Here's a plot twist. If you're playing hard to get with someone who has avoidant attachment, they're probably sitting there like, see, I told you relationships are unreliable. You think you're creating desire, but they're just getting confirmation that emotional intimacy is a scam and they should stick to their plant houses. They're not going to chase you. They're going to mentally file you under evidence that I should never trust anyone with my emotional well-being. You're basically handing them a get-out-of-vulnerability-free card while thinking you're being strategic. It's like trying to seduce someone by proving their worst fears about dating are totally justified. Number 6. Your mirror neurons start malfunctioning. Your brain has these things called mirror neurons that help you understand and connect with other people by literally mirroring their emotional states. When someone plays hard to get, these neurons get confused because they can't figure out what they're supposed to be mirroring. Excitement, disinterest, passive aggression. This creates a weird emotional dissonance where you start second-guessing your own feelings. Are you actually interested in this person, or are you just responding to the artificial scarcity they've created? Your mirror neurons are trying to sync up with someone who's intentionally being inconsistent, which is like trying to dance with a partner who keeps changing the rhythm. Eventually, your brain just gives up trying to establish genuine emotional resonance and defaults to anxiety. It's like your neurons are stuck in a hall of mirrors, reflecting confusion back and forth until nobody knows what's real anymore. Number 5. Your stress response system gets hijacked. Playing hard to get activates your sympathetic nervous system, the same system that kicks in when you're being chased by a bear or realize you forgot to pay your taxes. chronic activation of this system leads to elevated cortisol levels, which is great if you're actually running from predators, but terrible for your overall health when you're just trying to figure out if someone likes you. Your body literally can't tell the difference between "will they text me back" and "am I about to be eaten by a saber-toothed tiger?" High cortisol is not just making you anxious, it's literally impairing your ability to form secure attachments by interfering with oxytocin production. Oxytocin is the bonding hormone that helps you feel connected and trusting. So the stress of mixed signals actually chemically prevents you from developing the deep connection you're supposedly working toward. Meanwhile, elevated cortisol is also suppressing your immune system, disrupting your sleep, and making you crave comfort foods, because nothing says romantic connection than stress eating ice cream at 2 a.m. while refreshing their Instagram story. Your adrenal glands are working overtime pumping out stress hormones every time your phone buzzes with a notification that turns out to be your mom asking if you've eaten vegetables this week. By the time this person finally decides to be consistent, your nervous system is so fried that you've developed a Pavlovian response to notification sounds. It's like trying to build a house while someone keeps turning off the electricity. Sure, you might eventually finish, but it's going to be a lot harder and probably structurally unsound. Number 4, the protest behavior spiral. When your attachment system gets activated by inconsistent behavior, it triggers something called protest behavior. Basically, your nervous system throwing a toddler tantrum to try to get attention and reassurance. This might look like excessive texting, social media stalking, or suddenly becoming busy yourself to try to regain control. You know you're doing it, but your brain has convinced itself that if you just analyze their Spotify activity hard enough, you'll crack the code of their mysterious behavior. The cruel irony is that protest behavior often pushes people away, which confirms your fear that they weren't really interested anyway. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, powered by your attachment system's desperate attempt to restore connection. Your brain is essentially screaming, "Notice me," while simultaneously doing things that make you less noticeable. You start double texting, then immediately hate yourself for it, then screenshot their response time to your friends for a forensic analysis that would impress the FBI. This creates a vicious cycle, where the harder someone plays to get, the more activated your attachment system becomes, the more you engage in protest behavior, and the more likely you are to actually lose them. Your attachment system doesn't understand modern dating. It just knows that inconsistent caregiving usually meant death in prehistoric times, so it's pulling out all the stops to prevent abandonment. It's like your nervous system is sabotaging you while trying to save you, operating with the emotional sophistication of a fire alarm that goes off when you burn toast. Number 3, secure attachment takes a vacation. People with secure attachment styles, the emotionally stable unicorns who can handle uncertainty without spiraling, usually just walk away when someone starts playing games. They have this wild ability to recognize that healthy relationships don't require psychological warfare to function. When faced with mixed signals, their internal response is basically, "This is weird and unnecessary," followed by a polite exit to go water their plants or read a book like a well-adjusted human being. It means that playing hard to get tends to filter out the exact people you'd actually want to be in a relationship with, while attracting people whose attachment systems are as chaotic as a carnival ride operated by caffeinated teenagers. Secure people see mixed signals and think, "This person has some stuff to work out." Then they go find someone who can communicate like an adult. They're not interested in earning basic respect through a series of psychological challenges. They know their worth doesn't need to be proven through emotional obstacle courses. The people who stick around for your games are usually the ones who've learned to associate love with uncertainty, drama, and emotional labor. They're either anxiously attached and see your behavior as normal relationship dynamics, or they're avoidant and relieved that you're not asking for actual emotional availability. You're basically creating a selection bias where the only people willing to tolerate your games are people who also enjoy emotional chaos. It's like setting up a dating filter that only attracts people who think relationships should feel like an escape room designed by sadists. Number 2, Your internal working model gets corrupted. Your attachment system creates something called an internal working model, basically a mental blueprint of how relationships work based on your experiences. When you experience a bunch of relationships that involve games and mixed signals, your brain starts to think this is just how love works. It's like learning to drive in a city where all the traffic lights are broken. You develop skills for navigating chaos, but you have no idea how to handle a normal intersection where the signals actually work properly. This corrupted blueprint makes you more likely to either play games yourself or be attracted to people who play games, because your nervous system has learned to associate uncertainty and anxiety with romantic excitement. You start thinking that if someone's not making you question your worth, they must not be that into you. Consistency starts feeling boring because your dopamine receptors have been trained to only light up for emotional chaos. It's like being addicted to spicy food. After a while, mild salsa tastes like nothing, even though it's probably healthier for your digestive system. Your brain literally rewires itself to expect drama as proof of passion. When someone treats you with basic respect and clear communication, your nervous system goes, "This doesn't compute," because it's been programmed to interpret mixed signals as romance. You lose the ability to recognize genuine, consistent interest as attractive because your system has been trained to respond to chaos. It's like your brain's relationship GPS got a virus, and now every road to love goes through dysfunction junction, even when there's a perfectly good highway that leads directly to healthy communication city. Number 1. The attachment injury that keeps giving. Here's the real kicker. When someone plays hard to get and it actually works temporarily, it creates what psychologists call an attachment injury. This is a wound to your ability to trust and connect that can affect your relationships for years afterwards. Even if you end up together, part of your nervous system never forgets that this person was willing to manipulate your attachment needs for their own benefit. It's like building a house on a foundation that you know has cracks. Sure, it might hold up, but you're always going to be listening for creaking sounds. The relationship foundation gets built on a swamp of insecurity and game playing instead of solid ground. You might achieve the short-term goal of getting their attention, but you've also taught both of your nervous systems that love requires strategy, manipulation, and emotional withholding. Even years into the relationship, when they're being completely consistent, part of your brain is still scanning for signs that they might suddenly disappear or start playing games again. Your nervous system has learned that this person is capable of using your attachment needs against you, and it never fully relaxes. This attachment injury doesn't just affect your relationship with them, it affects how you show up in future relationships too. You might find yourself either becoming more guarded in game playing yourself, or you might become hyper-vigilant to any signs of inconsistency in new partners. Years later, when you're in therapy talking about why you can't seem to trust your perfectly consistent partner, you can trace it back to that time someone convinced you that making people suffer was romantic. Basically, playing hard to get is like taking out a payday loan on your emotional well-being. The interest rates are absolutely brutal, and you'll be paying for it long after the initial thrill is gone. That's all for today. I'll be making more videos like this, so subscribe if you don't want to miss them.